Hey FlossTube, it's Leslie with Fat Cat Flossing, and I'm back for one last FlossTube before we have Christmas. And I thought today I'd show off my finishes this year and some older stuff too. Few things I kept from when I was stitching before that I actually have around my house. So I'm in my office slash craft room, and this is SamSarah Designs Happy Life. And I finished this, I think I started in February and finished it in July of this year. And a lady that I know from a stitching group I attend sometimes here in Arkansas finished it off for me as a wall hanging. But I was really pleased with that, and I love the sentiment. It says, on the off chance you won't live forever, you may as well be happy now. And again, I think that's real important. Can't take today for granted because it'll be gone before you know it. And then, here, all my stitchy stuff is on the shelf, and please ignore the crazy state of my office because there's like Christmas presents stashed in here that aren't wrapped yet and all that kind of stuff. There goes a cat on the keyboard. And I've mentioned before I have a closet full of craft crap, and you can see, indeed I do. Lots of crap. Lots and lots of crap. I have lots and lots of crap of many different kinds. Lots of craft crap. There's my sewing machine, covered up with a cover I made for it years ago. And I seem to have a theme going for color because my sewing box is the same color. And you'll notice I still haven't figured out how to turn the camera around while I'm filming. So sorry about that. I hope nobody's getting seasick. But we're going to move along, and I'll show you the next thing that I've done while locking my dogs up here in the office so they'll stay out of the way. This is, I think, Dancing Lambs by Shepherd's Bush. It's definitely a Shepherd's Bush pattern that I finished years ago. I didn't date this one, but it would have been the early to mid 90s. And now one of 3 pieces hanging in my house because, you know, we had to count the Happy Life. Moving right on down the way here. And if you happen to catch a glimpse of my living room, please ignore it because it's nasty and raining here, and the dogs, we have 3 dogs, 2 Shih Tzus and a Pomeranian, and they're just little mud puddles. So I've got a bunch of old quilts thrown over my couch. This is one of the other 2 pieces that I actually did and kept, and I think I finished this the late 90s, 98, 99, maybe, somewhere in there. I think it's called The Promise, and it's a Shepherd's Bush pattern. Nobody who knows me would be shocked by the fact that it's Shepherd's Bush. And it's pretty nicely framed, except for that little ding at the top where my husband knocked it off the wall a couple of years ago. I was real lucky that the glass didn't break in it. And then over here on my haul tree, this is a Santa ornament that I made, I don't know, we'll guess mid-90s or so. I have no idea what the pattern was. If anybody's interested, say so down in the comments and I will try to look it up. But I was pretty proud of him at the time. I guess maybe it was, I don't know, I was still stitching on Ada, so early 90s for sure. All right, let's come over here and get down to looking at all the other goodies. And again, please ignore my house. It is a certified disaster area today. Okay, let's see if I can do this without making everybody too seasick. The good news is I have ordered a tripod. So hopefully that'll be here soon. And I wish I could figure out how to change the camera view, but that's just above my head. I am tech challenged. Would be probably the kindest thing you could say. But I thought we'd look at a few other finishes. And some of these are finishes from long, long ago. And some of them were started long, long ago and just finished this year. And then a couple of them are start and stop, start and finish this year. So I've got all kinds here. This is, I think it's called Halloween Night. It's also a Shepherd's Bush design. And it's got some really cute little buttons on it. I didn't pay real good attention when I bought it because I don't think it's stitched on the recommended count linen. So the buttons are really actually kind of big for it, but I don't care. It's cute and Halloweeny, and I hung it up proudly anyway, and thanks to Darla for finishing it. I met Darla through a stitchers group that was held in Mountainburg here weekly. And some terrible news for those of you who may have known her. Lynn Pounder was the lady who ran the group, and she used to have a shop in Fort Smith called Cross Stitch Treasures, and she still had a small shop. And unfortunately, Lynn passed away in a house fire early last week. And that's a real loss to everybody who knew her. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. And it's sad to know that somebody I met through stitching and who welcomed me very warmly when I moved here and didn't know anybody. Yeah, just a shame. She's a loss to everybody. So my condolences to her family and friends. My next finish, this is Be My Valentine. And it's by Cottage Needleworks, I think. And I started this one in June, the middle of June, and I finished it towards the end of August. I had about a month last summer, most of June, when I really couldn't stitch much. I had my rotator cuff repaired because I ripped it a new one. And so I was, at least it was my left arm and not my right, so it could have been much worse, but I had kind of a break from stitching, but I thought this turned out really cute, and it'll hang over there on my hall tree where the Santa Claus is right now when it gets to be Valentine's time. My goal is to finish something to hang over there for each season. How likely is that? And I think those are all of the FFOs, with the exception of the pink cushion y'all saw on the last one. But I do have a couple of other finishes. Now, they were started a long time ago. I think I started this. This is done on, I think, 25 count. I don't remember if it's Joblin or Lugana. I think it's Lugana. Not positive. This is the 10 Commandments. It's stitched all in DMC floss on, like I said, I think a 25 count. White Lugana, and this is from a 1991 or 92 issue of, I think, Cross Stitch magazine. If anybody is interested in the pattern, I can of course dig it out and try to look it up. But I thought it came out pretty nice. I just need to FFO it. Like many things in my life, it needs a little help to get done with. But this was the first thing I started stitching on when I decided I was going to start again, because I had not stitched since 2002. And when I decided I was going to start cross-stitching again, I felt, and I pulled out my stash, which I kind of found accidentally, because we were moving and unpacking and all that kind of stuff. So I pulled out stuff, and I had several in-progress things, and this was one of them. And I kind of felt the obligation to work on the stuff that I had started a long time ago, before I bought anything new. Just to see if it was going to stick, if I still had a stitchy bug or not. And indeed I did. I am now a victim of the deluxe stitchy bug. So I have finished this thing that I started in, I think, 1993. What's a mere 24 years. And I'm pretty happy with it. And then one other thing that I started, maybe a little later, somewhere around the same time, mid-90s probably, was this. This pattern is called Valley Sheep. And boy, I was an idiot. Look at all that linen I wasted. I just see that now and I'm horrified. But I didn't know any better, and I'm sure the shop owners were glad to see me coming. But anyway, this is called Valley Sheep, and it's by Amaryllis Designs. And I started it, I believe, in, I don't know, mid-90s. And finished it this year. This was the other thing I finished. And I'll tell you, the reason I quit working on it back when was I got so friggin' sick and tired of all that green. I could just spit green by the time I got done stitching on it. But I finally powered through and got it done. And, I love sheep, so that's why I had to have it to begin with. And it says, "The mountain sheep are sweeter, but the valley sheep are fatter. We therefore deemed it meeter to Carry Off the Ladder. And it was signed by Thomas S. Love Peacock in 1823. So I think this is a reproduction of a much earlier pattern. I didn't care about that one way or the other. I thought it was cute. It had sheep on it. And it's finished, and I just need to get it framed. And, you know, I just seem to be spending my money on adding to my stash rather than finishing stuff off. And then, I got the sick of hearing and then. Y'all saw this one before. This is Love Never Fails by the Primitive Hare, and I just finished that a couple weeks ago. But this is the finish that I am proudest of and that I worked the hardest on, and is probably the biggest thing I've ever done. Want to guess who the designer is? First two don't count. I'm afraid when I'm unfolding these, y'all are going to see the back of my stitching, which is not notoriously neat. This is the Earth Gatherers by Shepherd's Bush. And I finished this in 2000, and I worked on this for months. I was working as a flight nurse at the time for San Antonio Air Life, and I would take it to work with me and get 2 stitches in and get a call, and then take it home and work on it at night. But it is beautiful. It's my all-time favorite of anything I have ever stitched, and I have the Jill Renzel mat that I bought way back when. That's slightly the worse for wear, having moved, I think, 6 times with me since I bought, or maybe 7, since I bought it. But I still have it. And by God, one of these days I am going to get this sucker framed and put up in my house, because my all-time favorite piece I've ever done. The Earth Gatherers by Shepherd's Bush. And look, there's a sheep. Maxie, I don't need help, baby. Go on now. Go on, Max. Go on, sweetie. Sorry, my old man Ragdoll wants to come see what Mama's doing. Clear a little space here so I can get out the other stuff I got to show you. Y'all may have seen me recently in Project Bag Hell. Although I am happy to report that I have pretty much mastered, okay, that may be a stretch. I have pretty much figured out how to do a project bag. And the first one I made was this one. And if you watched my video on the project bags, you heard me bitching that I had a hard time sewing through these seams here on the sides because of using the fusible fleece and it being so thick. I have since resolved that issue. On the last couple that I made, what I did was just trimmed the fusible fleece about a ½ inch short of where the rest of the material for the bottom of the bag went, which is actually becomes the top of the bag here, and then folded it over. And if I don't have that extra layer of that fusible fleece in those seams, then it's still thick, but I haven't broken another needle on my sewing machine, and I have gotten it accomplished. And then this was the next one I made, and I just used a regular interfacing on this, which is okay, it's fine, but the fusible fleece makes it feel much better. So I'm glad I went back and retried that and, you know, figured out how to do it. This was the first zipper bag I made. I'm in love with this bag. I just love the colors. They're so pretty. And this was the second one I made. Somebody said they wanted to see the one because I showed the owl material, I guess maybe on the last video, one before that, whichever one I talked about project bags. So this was the owl material, and I got it made. And it's just lined with a solid pink, or, well, it's a patterned pink, but it's just pink. That's, you know, pink's my favorite color. And then I had made Trace Moss. Another zipper one. I thought those hearts were too cute. And this was just really reasonably priced material from Walmart. I have 2 big Rubbermaid totes full of material that I have gathered over the years. But of course, I had to use the stuff I found at Walmart. But it was, you know, $3.97 a yard, I think. It was not expensive. So, and it takes a yard total to do it. So I thought that was worthwhile. But anyway, this was my next one. I finished this one yesterday, maybe. I don't remember. And again, it's got a pink lining. I'm consistent. You got to give me that. I'm consistent. And then I made 2 more today, and these are, the zipper bags were from the tutorial by Suzette, the Primitive Stitcher, and I'll link that again below. Slightly more challenging than the next one, but still, I could do it, so you could do it. It was not difficult per se, especially once I got the zipper foot, and the third one actually whipped up pretty quick, a couple hours, which is a much better time than my first one did. I made this one yesterday, I think. Yeah, yesterday. This is the tutorial from Fauna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher. And I made this one today. And it's got ladybugs on it. Gotta love some ladybugs, man. And it's just got a polka dot lining in it. So, all in all, I'm proud of myself. I think they're very cute. My goal is to get one more made. Maybe after this, maybe tomorrow, depending on what my husband's doing. I don't think he's going to be playing golf because the weather is absolutely shitty. Cold rain, nasty. I don't think he's going to be able to play golf. But I, last week, told y'all I had pulled out all the patterns in the world out of my stash to start working on. And I narrowed it down, and I plan to start one of these tonight, because that's kind of my stitching time, is sitting on the couch at night. So I plan to start one of these for the next 4 days. And because this one has a time deadline on it, it's a birthday present for my best friend Charlotte, and her birthday's July 23rd. No, July 16th. My sister-in-law's is on the 23rd. But anyway, so I got to get this started and, get it in gear and get it done. And so I've pulled linens. I haven't gone through and pulled threads yet. I'll probably do that in a little bit. But that's going in one of my new project bags, which is why I have to get a fourth one done, because I've got 4 of these pulled out to get started the next few days. Also kind of on a time deadline, the first of the O'Hare family. This is Henry O'Hare. I figured I'd do him next because I like that pretty purple linen that he's going to be on. And so he's going to go in one of my new project bags. We're going to get ready to start on him. And y'all excuse me, I'm just a power surge waiting to happen. And it's happening now! Middle age is so much fun. Anyway, watch me sweat. This is going to be one of my next starts. It is Land of Liberty by Cottage Needleworks. And since it needs to be done by July 4th, I figured I better kick it up in the rotation too. And then last but not least, one I'm doing for me. The Selfie sampler. I've actually got one of these little boxes like this that I bought, back when I was buying a bunch of cross-stitch stuff in the 90s. And so I'm hoping that this pattern will fit in there. So I really like both designs. I've really had a hard time deciding whether I wanted to do the little pillow because it's got the bird on it, and I like the bird, or if I wanted to do the one that would fit in the little box that I have. So I don't know. I may have to rethink that a little bit and maybe leave out some other motif and squeak that bird in there. We'll see. Because I like birds. What can I say? Anyway, that's cute. I really liked it. So those are my plans. Got to get one more project bag made. So I've got a bag to put each one of these things in besides my current whips. And then to start getting started. And, it's a week before 2018 starts, but the heck with it. I'm going to go ahead and get it in gear because I need all the head start I can get on just about anything. Couple things I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who's been so kindly watching and subscribing and liking my videos and commenting on them. I do have the 2 giveaways going. The one I'm going to pull for the, there's a piece of Ada and a piece of Hardanger fabric. And I'm going to pull those on Tuesday morning, the 26th. Excuse me. And then I've got another giveaway going for materials to make a project bag. And I plan to pull that one on next Friday, which I think is the 29th. So you got plenty of time to still get in those giveaways. Put a comment. Don't say giveaway, just a random comment of some sort on one of those 2 videos. And, subscribe and like, and I'll be pulling those names and getting those mailed out. The fabrics will for sure go out next week. It may be, like the following week before the material for the project bags goes out because it's going to be the New Year's holiday and the weather's supposed to be snowy and nasty. And I grew up in South Texas. I don't do snow and ice. I don't even really do a whole lot of rain, which you'll notice I washed my hair this morning and I'm in, the fantastic frizzies because it's so humid because it's raining. Again, more middle-aged fun. The older I've gotten, the grayer my hair has gotten, and it's been graying since I was in my 20s. But this streak right here has my son's name all over it. But yeah, the older I get, the grayer it gets, and the frizzier the gray gets. So, again, the woes of middle age. What can I say? Good thing about middle age is I'm retired and stitching more. That's a big plus. So anyway, thank you again to everybody who's been so kind. I sure do appreciate it. I hope that y'all enjoy my little bit of crazy that I share. If there's anything, I think maybe after the first of the year, we'll do a tour of the stash. I may have to screen that from my husband so he doesn't actually know how much I have. Yeah, I have to think about how to do that. It's ugly. It's really ugly. Actually, it's not ugly. It's awesome! But it's a shit ton. What can I say? But anyway, I think I'm going to go try to whip out that one more project bag. And then we'll see where to go from there. But starts are coming. I'll have starts to show off next time we talk. God willing, and the creek don't rise anyway. So, I appreciate y'all. I hope you all have a wonderful, merry, and blessed Christmas. And that you're kept warm by the thoughts and love of your family and friends. And, that you're all just richly blessed. Love y'all. Bye.